He was a billionaire, dressed sharp, walking home through the city. But in one wrong turn, under flickering lights and dripping pipes, his life almost ended. 3 men stepped out of the shadows. They did not want his wallet. They wanted him. The alley closed in. Fists flew, chains swung until something impossible happened. A girl appeared, a black girl, holding nothing but a simple ball in her hand. And with that single ball, she changed everything. Who was she? Why was she there? And what secret was hidden in that alley? You will not believe what happened next. Stay with me until the end, because this story will leave you breathless. The night was damp. A pale fog clung to the narrow alley. The streetlights above flickered, casting broken halos of light on the cracked pavement. The billionaire, sharply dressed, stepped into the wrong passageway. His footsteps echoed too loudly, bouncing off the graffiti-stained walls. Then came another sound, shuffling shoes. 3 shadows emerged, faces hidden under hoods. Their silence was more threatening than words. The billionaire's chest tightened. One of them cracked his knuckles. Another pulled a chain from his pocket. The air grew colder, sharper, as if the night itself was holding its breath. He tried to step back, but the men closed in, circling like wolves. His heartbeat roared in his ears, the smell of garbage mixed with iron from a rusted pipe. Then came the strike. A fist slammed into his ribs. The chain rattled, whistling through the air. The billionaire stumbled, pain spreading through his body. He gasped for breath, eyes darting for an escape. There was none. The 3 men closed in tighter, their faces twisted with cruel delight. And then, a sound broke the tension. A sharp thud, a ball rolled across the wet pavement. Stopping at their feet, they turned. At the mouth of the alley stood a girl. Her skin gleamed in the dim light. Her hands steady, her eyes unblinking. She held another ball in her palm. Her presence was sudden, unsettling. The men froze, confused, anger flashing in their eyes. The girl said nothing. She only raised her arm, and with a snap of motion, she hurled the ball forward. It cut through the air like a bullet. The sound of impact rang out, sharp and shocking. One of the men staggered, clutching his face, blood already trickling. The other 2 snarled, stepping forward. But the girl was ready. Her breathing was calm, measured, as if this was not her first fight. The billionaire's eyes widened, torn between fear and awe. Who was this girl? And why had she appeared at this exact moment? The alley was no longer silent. It was alive with tension, with danger. With the growing storm between predator and protector, the night had changed. Forever. The man who had been struck groaned, falling to his knees. The other 2 men rushed forward, their chains swinging, their fists clenched. The alley echoed with their heavy steps, but the girl did not flinch. She tightened her grip on another ball, her fingers pressed into its smooth surface. Steady, controlled. She inhaled slowly. The world around her seemed to slow with her breath. The men charged, her arms snapped, the ball flew, spinning fast, cutting the fog like lightning. It struck the first man in the temple. A hollow crack followed. He collapsed against the wall, eyes dazed, chain slipping from his hand. The last man stopped. His breath was ragged. His rage burned hotter now. He growled, raising his chain high. The billionaire, bruised and trembling, pressed against the bricks. He wanted to shout, but no words came. The girl's eyes locked on the last attacker. There was no fear in her stare, only fire. She bent her knees, shifting her weight like an athlete on a field. Then, a sudden crash of thunder rolled across the sky. The storm had arrived. Raindrops began to fall, hissing against the pavement. The man lunged through the rain. The chain swung, a blur of steel. The girl released her final throw. The ball whistled through the downpour, faster than his strike. Impact. The sound was sickening. the force undeniable. The man's body spun, collapsing to the wet ground. Silence returned, broken only by rain striking metal and stone. The billionaire slid down the wall, his breath shallow. The girl stood still, her chest rising and falling slowly. The balls at her feet gleamed under the streetlight, wet with rain and blood. The billionaire finally whispered, voice shaking, "Who are you?" The girl turned her head, her expression unreadable. She said nothing. Her silence was louder than any answer. And in that silence, the billionaire realized something chilling. This was not the first time she had done this. The rain poured heavier, drowning the alley in silver streaks. The billionaire struggled to rise, clutching his ribs. Every movement burned, but curiosity was stronger than pain. The girl stood with her back to him, unmoving, like a shadow carved into the storm. Her braids clung to her soaked shoulders, her hands, still wet with rain, curled into quiet fists. She finally spoke. Her voice was low, calm, almost haunting. "They were not after your wallet." The billionaire froze, her words sliced deeper than the night air. Not after his wallet. Then what? The thought unsettled him more than the attack itself. He scanned the fallen men. Even in unconsciousness, their pockets bulged. Strange devices. Metallic. Unfamiliar. Not the tools of petty thieves. Something else. The girl kicked one object across the pavement. It clattered, sparking faintly in the rain. The billionaire bent down, trembling, his fingers brushing it. Cold. Heavy. Not a weapon he recognized, but designed with purpose. The girl's eyes narrowed, watching his reaction. "They wanted you alive." Her words struck harder than the blows he had taken. Alive. For what? His throat went dry, his mind racing. The shadows around them felt thicker now, pressing in as if the night itself listened. The girl tilted her head, scanning the rooftops above. Her jaw tightened. "They are not the only ones." The billionaire followed her gaze, and for the first time, he saw it too. A flicker of movement on the rooftops. Figures, watching, silent, unmoving. The alley was not safe. Not anymore. The billionaire's breath caught in his chest. The rooftop figures did not move, but their presence was heavy, suffocating. The girl stepped closer to him, her gaze sharp, her voice firm. "We leave. Now." He staggered, his legs weak, but something in her tone left no room for hesitation. The two of them pushed through the alley, the rain slapping their skin, the sound masking every distant footstep above. Behind them, the fallen men twitched, groaning, as if waking from broken dreams. The girl never looked back. Her hand brushed the edge of her satchel, where more balls rested, silent and ready. They reached the mouth of the alley. The city stretched before them, alive with lights, horns, and chaos. Yet it felt far less safe than the darkness behind. The billionaire turned to speak, but she raised her hand, silencing him before a word escaped. Her eyes carried a weight far older than her years. "Finally," she whispered, "you were never the target. What you carry is." His heart dropped. She walked into the rain-soaked crowd, disappearing among strangers as if she had never been there. The billionaire stood alone, shivering, her words echoing louder than the storm. Not the target. What he carried. He reached into his jacket pocket with trembling fingers, and felt something there, something he did not remember placing. The night swallowed the city's noise for a moment, and in that silence, a truth heavier than the rain began to form in his mind. The alley was behind him, but the danger had only just begun.